I would never do that, but woo.
I wonder if you get caught up in a tornado and if you have a parachute
And
you get just tossed out.
You would die.
Beep. Beep.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Awkward Tea Party. Today we have Lauren and we have Max.
I'm a guest on my own show.
And yeah, today we're going to be talking about existential stuff. It's been kind of crazy. We're going right into it.
Oh my god, existential crisis. I'm a guest on my own show.
Yeah, so yesterday for me was kind of rough, but again, I don't even know where to start with this. In terms of, I'd say last week was kind of right. It was last week already.
Yeah, that was last week.
Yeah, that was last week.
It's kind of it's been an interesting couple weeks that's been happening, and I feel that a lot of us are going through some, us as individuals are facing some sort of individual challenges, personally, career-wise, and I don't know. Yeah, you guys want to take the wheel before? Yes, you want to start off with yours?
My existential tantrum. Yeah, that was it was technically a couple of weeks ago, and I just felt in my gut it wasn't right for me. It wasn't right. I didn't want to go to work, and I know all of us feel that literally all the time. And just something about me just told me, I was like, just don't fight it. Just accept the fact that you don't want to do it and just let it flow through you. And I was like, all right, universe. And I mean, the universe had been telling me that for a really long time now, I feel. And now it's more so like, all right, you know this isn't right for you. What are you going to do next so that you have like a game plan to move forward? So the days and the week after that, I was that's how the forward motion, that's where it went. Essentially, I had I had this existential tantrum, and now it's like, where do I go from here?
I guess from like the moment, like how I guess throughout that day, like how did you go from like feeling one type of way and then moving to where you are now?
I really just absorbed where I was, and like I thought about like honestly, I thought this was going to come regardless, because it wasn't so much of it just hit me all at once. It was more so a buildup of having this kind of feeling, this inkling feeling over time.
Yeah.
Like over a really long time. And so honestly, if it didn't happen now, it probably would have happened within a month or two, or I don't know. And now, like I said, I'm planning my way forward, and we're just gonna see where it takes me.
I remember one of the things you were saying, I think, was, I'd never do this. Like you've never done, like where you just play a hooky from work.
Yeah. There's always a reason. Yeah, there's always a reason. It's like if I'm actually sick, or if like I try to take the day off to do an audition or something.
Yeah. Or
like I've never done that with any other job. This is the first job that I've ever done that with. Yeah.
What about you, Max?
Do we have time?
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Do we have time? I mean, we all know I'm not the most mentally stable person in the world. So like, I think, so for some context, my therapist has wisely suggested, and I'm not saying that sarcastically, but it only sounds like that because I don't like it, that, you know, we should be going from once a week to once every other week. And that kind of sent me into a panic because I acknowledge that I've been using my therapy sessions and therapist basically as a crutch and a way out of having either of you deal with me when I'm going through some shit. And that was like my thing. It's like I never want either of you to deal with me. I'm going through my shit because it never turns out pretty. It always ends up me like messing it up or whatever, or saying the wrong thing. But yeah. So I was like, kind of scared for that. I was also like house sitting for a friend, and it was kind of like a getaway for me. Like I was still gonna be working. I was still gonna be, doing my regular day, but like at someone else's house, all by myself. But towards the end, like that Friday, I get a call from my boss saying that, yeah, we can have you work remotely after you've moved to California, but we can't guarantee that you're going to keep the same position, keep the same amount of hours, or keep the same rate. And it's definitely going to be less. Mm-hmm. So that kind of set me into another panic. So yeah, I was like, well, there goes, there goes one plan. So now I have to like plan for another thing and another thing. And it just kind of like started spiraling. And then, and I was going through like my usual like existential dread, because I don't like my day job to begin with, but I need money and I need insurance, mostly the insurance. And then I thought, like being at my friend's house by myself for a while, it's going to be kind of a getaway, so I can be away from this environment that I don't like. And, kind of be on my own. It was great for a little bit until the loneliness coupled with the sheer size of the house and having only a fucking Roomba as the other object that moves around the house. Like it's just like amplified it. So it just like, it wasn't pretty. The bed was comfy, the couch was comfy, the food was great. Like I made some bomb food. I ordered some bomb food there, but like other than that, like just mentally, I was just like not happy. And and it kind of sucked because my expectation was I was just gonna have this really great time, like just being by myself, having my own space for a while, kind of knowing what it's like to be in a home and like be in a safe environment. But yeah, and then come back from that, and then like work was kind of the usual stress, just kind of like piling onto it. And then like this week was my first week of not having therapy, so like I was like really nervous about it, and I kind of got through it for a little bit. Couple panic attacks here and there sprinkled throughout the week, a couple really bad ones yesterday. Still going through it today, but I was like okay enough to like play a video game. But yeah, I think I'm just mentally and emotionally exhausted, and I need to talk to my therapist. Like I really do. My Prozac ran out last week, so I was also having like a hard time. So yeah, yay.
Yeah.
I condensed it because I have to edit this.
I mean, how are you in regards to I mean, it's your first week, right? So how does it feel to try to be on your own? Have you leaned on any of the stuff that you've learned?
I have. Like, if I didn't, I would be a lot worse right now.
What were some practices that you put into play that helped you?
Because it's at some point like earlier during the week, like I have like some like mild panic attacks that are like kind of manageable. I'm like able to do some like exercises that like revolve around like coming back to center, basically, like mentally. Just like either reading or writing down new reminders of like what's going on right now. That's not like what's going on in my brain right now isn't really the case, and all that. Like it's mostly that. Yesterday and then like probably the day before, it was a lot harder to manage, and I think the downward spiral was a lot stronger than me remembering to do anything. So that's kind of like, which in turn makes me disappointed in myself. And it's another cycle that I have to go through. But yeah, and I really think I just need to reset my brain by like actually like sleeping. I think kind of last night I capped it off by like playing some video game that didn't take a lot of brain to play. So I was just like, I just wanted to like mentally check out and like actually give my brain a rest, which kind of worked a little until I woke up this morning. But yeah, and there's also some like, you know, some things my subconscious is also like, you think you're safe sleeping? No, you're not.
What is your subconscious telling you?
My subconscious. So I told Emeroy this, but I had this like one nightmare where this was like some sort of like zombie apocalypse or whatever. It was like pretty epic to begin with. It was like nice. I was like, oh, this is great. So yeah, there was an apocalypse. We were able to stash Steph and Jordan and my imaginary cat named Sako. I had a cat named Sako. Some were safe. And Ember and I were running through the woods looking for you, Lauren. And then we found you. And then when we turned around to take the same way back, somehow the way was fucked. So we had to go around the mountain, go up a mountain, and like shimmy like on the side of a cliff or whatever. And there was a gap. And the gap, like below the gap, were these like zombie dogs that were also like the demo dogs from Stranger Things. I was like, okay. Awesome. So I let you guys go ahead to like go over it, like to like not go over, but like shimmy like over it. And then I went, and there was a tree root that I was holding on to. And then I was like, Emma grabbed my hand. I was like, okay, cool, I can let go. I let go, but Emma didn't pull. And then I started dangling like over the zombie demo dogs, and one of them bit my foot off, and I started just yelling, and then I fell in, and then I died. So I was like, the fuck was that? It's like, first of all, where did I get a cat? But yeah, that was the one that was the only one I remember. Because yeah, I rarely sleep through the night anymore. But yeah. Just a lot. Like I haven't been able to just fully get to rest even when I'm asleep.
When you were able to get fully like rest, what was normally what do you think was the influence of the environment?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I got some pretty good sleep when I was house sitting. Just because I did feel a lot safer in that space. Like I could literally just like wake up and do my thing without having to like deal with any like judgment or, you know, just dealing with people I don't want to see first thing in the morning. And yeah, I mean, there was no one to see first thing in the morning, but like just being able to do like a lot of things that I like to do without having to like make sure no one's around, or, you know, because literally I was smoking a bowl in the middle of the living room, and my friend's like, yeah, just do that. I'm like, love this place. I mean, I stress cleaned his kitchen, but I was just like, wow, I have a whole kitchen to myself. Like, I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, I turned on the Roomba, and I was like, okay, you clean, and I'll clean upstairs. I didn't clean upstairs. I ended up playing Beat Saber. And that's the thing. I ended up playing Beat Saber. And then I told him, I'm like, I cleaned the downstairs, but I didn't clean the upstairs. Sorry. He was like, I didn't expect you to clean anything. I was like, downstairs is clean. Woo. Yeah. But I think it really does come down to like the environment where I spend most of my day in. I mean, one way to get out of this environment was to go to the office, but then again, I also don't like it there.
Yeah.
It's literally a rock and hard place for me. It's just like, where do I go?
And what?
Yeah.
Good. I mean, I think we still talked about it a little bit over text, but that the dream definitely sounds like an interpretation of what may happen in it was maybe a fear of what may happen in your waking life.
Yeah, I mean, that's a logical explanation. I mean, I did call my therapist on Friday, but I didn't talk to her about it. Like, I feel like I should talk to her about it on Tuesday on like the actual session. Because yeah, Friday morning, I just had to call her. Like Thursday night was like a lot. So I called her. And I also got to talk to Lauren like throughout the day on Thursday, which I appreciated. So thank you. I mean, I've gotten some like crazier like dreams before that like even my therapist is like, what? But yeah, I think this one could just have like a straightforward answer, like a straightforward interpretation, and like, that's a fear that I like either have to come to terms with or just something that I have to keep convincing myself is not true. Because like you can tell me you can assure me all you want and all you need to, but at the end of the day, like I know I'm very aware that like comes down to me believing it for myself.
Yeah.
And like with it comes down to like, kind of battling with my insecure and like anxiety brain, like going like, no, it's going to happen. Like, yeah. Yes, there's going to be zombie demodogs that are going to eat me. But yeah, like, I know there's like, I'm like saying this and like knowing that I know the quote unquote fix to it or whatever, but like, it's a lot easier for me to say that than to actually do it when the time comes. Because I can have all this knowledge, I can have all these things that like my therapist has given me. I can fill out like 10 million journals if I have to, but it comes down to whether like in each situation I can actually do it. Because some days I can, some days I'm just like, nope, I give up on life. I'm gonna lay down and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think the last 2 weeks was kind of like more on the side of I'm gonna give up and do nothing kind of thing. And like, I tried to like combat that with throwing myself back into like one of my 2020 lockdown hyperfixations, which was nails. Because before I would still do my nails, and then I'm just like, I was kind of over it, and I'm just like, I started getting more like, I started like digging out like the stuff I used to use, like all the tools, all the equipment, and I'm just like, okay, let's actually make something out of this. And then also like, I kind of got into this new thing where I'm recording Let's Plays and all that, and editing this podcast, which has been helping because it's, it's nice to do something for me. That's just for me. That's like, technically I edit too as my job. But like, I'm just doing this because I want to, and it's for me. No one's paying me to do this.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like the whole thing of like, what would you be doing if no one was paying you to do it?
Yeah, literally the same thing, but like no one's paying me to do it.
Yeah,
because I don't have to deal with, well, especially if the people I'm doing it for, which I'm talking about my day job, don't know anything about what I do. And then they they have their notes in, they want to see something, they want to see this. I'm like, okay, cool, but it's going to take a lot longer than you think. And they're like, oh, well, we can use this other software, which makes it a lot quicker. So you want a glorified slideshow.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know. That's like kind of like this. I mean, that's like part of the stress factor at work, besides the tight deadlines that are being imposed on me every day. But yeah, it's all over the place. I think that's probably what makes it a lot harder for me to explain why I'm feeling things, and it's like a lot harder for me to pinpoint exactly where the feeling originated from, because it's coming from like everywhere. And it's like they're all coming at me like all at once, and it's not because it's a buildup and it just kind of fell down. It's a buildup all at the same time. Like it's not like there wasn't that gradual of a buildup like over the last 2 weeks. So it's just like it just like all hit me all at once, and then it kept going. It built on top of it. So yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting therapy session on Tuesday.
Last week, I mean, last week, yeah, like it was definitely I feel like this past 2 weeks have definitely been a different change in course, so to speak. Because I know last Monday I had a game plan of like, all right, I'm gonna go, especially like I spent the night at your place. I'm gonna go. We got get this work thing done. The beginning of the social media report that I dreaded for the past 2 weeks.
And then you're supposed to get your car fixed.
Yeah.
Bunch of shit.
Yeah. So it was like, oh, okay. So I became more like forego work to be mental and emotional support for you. And then Max, you're going through something too. And I was like, oh shit. I would like, it was, for me, it was like, how do I be of support for both of you at the same time? And then, which is why we ended up FaceTiming for like hours. So thankfully, thank God for technology. And yeah. And for me, that was actually nice, because it was one of those things. And I know, but I noticed I do have a cap, which I'll get to. But it's not, because I remember I've had a tendency to always prioritize to try to get work done, that like I would have been like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go work. Or Max, that sucks, I'm gonna go work. And then but like I said, I did have a cap. I think I felt that cap on Friday.
Thursday.
Thursday? Back from Thursday.
Yesterday was Friday.
Yeah, this week. So now we're coming back to this week. I came back from your place, yeah, and then everything hit all at once, and going from like edits and video edits not looking the way they should, someone making unnecessary comments about the company. It's one of those things I feel like that shouldn't or should be insignificant, but it still hurts. And then a lot more personal things on the side as well. And I think that was where I faced my cap. I'm like, okay, cool. I did a lot of emotional support. I need to do my thing, but I that's where I felt even more pressure, because Max, I know you wanted some emotional support, but at that point I was at my cap, like, because I needed to take care of myself at that point, to the point where I was like sad and hurt and angry and all the things at the same time. And because when I face those days, I have a tendency of saying, like, when it rains, it pours. So, and just trying to be, at that moment, I felt like I was just being a terrible boss at both companies, and just being a terrible boyfriend to you, Max, because I couldn't give you the emotional support, because I had to do my thing. And aside from the other personal stuff I told you guys, but it was even to the point, what do you call it, that I texted both of you that I kind of want to just let everything go, just fire everyone or let everyone go, and just do the thing that I do, YouTube stuff. But I mean, I do kind of want to do that. It would be nice, but I also have, there's this thing of like, I want to see how far it goes before, like, you know, if I'm going to leave, I want to leave like properly on my terms. Like, what happened with family business, I left because I went to go focus on being a dad, and then I just never felt like I left it properly. And I feel like if I do that now, if I would have left out of just like,
Right.
yeah, I would have left out of spite. And then, yeah, now, so, and then, you know, come 2017, closed it the way I wanted to. So like, if I leave any of these, I want to leave it in a way that I wanted it to. And even if it fails for a short moment in time, it'll come back. Like for Fanbiz, I remember everyone left 2008, and even my co-director Mark, he left, and I was sad for maybe 3 to 6 months. And then I was like, it can work, and it can work. It just needs to change. It needs to change. So, and it came back. And this was back in 2007. So, and same, yeah, I feel like the same here. If I quit, I'll come back because it's just something I want. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I mean, I did a little bit of my taking care of myself in terms of like, I wanted to, got the things I needed to get done. Thank God, it's off my plate. Also worked out, which helped out a lot. I did more of an angry workout, which helps redirect the energy of all that stress towards something productive. I'm feeling much closer to baseline now, and I think the support from both of you was huge. Like both, like obviously in the group chat, but also like with how you guys helped me out. Like Max helping me out with my cheat day. Well, both of you helped with like cheat day, just like bring food and stuff. Yeah, I'm in a tough. I mean, people don't like talking, but I'm in a tough financial spot right now because that's all I'm gonna say. I know I'm gonna bounce back, but it's one of those things I honestly feel ashamed that I looked over. Because I'm like, how can you do that? It's
You also had like a billion things on your plate. Well, you still do, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm feeling better now, but we'll see. It's like one of the you know, and today it feels different. Like a lot of temper tantrum stuff, like kind of veering off to like how we have an idea and life kind of takes us to a different direction. Like you had every intention on going to work last week, and then
that's not happening.
Actually, even though there was that one day where I did not go to work, I was able to talk with my supervisor, who was very, 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 very gracious with me.
Yeah.
And he let me work from home pretty much the entire week. And honestly, like the beginning of this week, I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back to the office and we're going to handle it. We're going to just face it head on. We're going to do our work. And then I got COVID. Yeah. And I got COVID. I'm 100% sure I got it when I was, okay. So last week, quick recap, I had my existential tantrum, worked from home. Then I went to a bachelorette party in Vegas. And then on the way home from Vegas, I started feeling a dry cough in my throat. Monday was good. I worked out with my friend. And then Tuesday that we went to this place, Bottle Logic.
Yeah.
And then the next day, because Tuesday morning I was testing and I was like, it was like a very, very, very faint, like positive. And I was like, so then I retested. So I retested twice. Like I used a different type of test because I texted my supervisor and I was like, hey, I know this is my first test and it was very, I showed you the picture. It was very, very faint. And then I did another test. It showed up negative. I was like, okay, why don't I get another test? So I went to CVS, bought another test kit that came out negative. And I was like, all right, cool. And so he was like, all right, well, you might as well just come to work. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, cool. And then the next day I tested in the morning and it was like, boom, you got COVID. And I was like, oh, this is and I sent it to my supervisor. He was like, oh no. And I was like, well, the upside of this is that I can use my COVID sick hours. There's specifically sick hours for COVID.
That's nice.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, because the time when I got sick at the end of May, when everyone in the office got COVID, but I didn't.
But you didn't.
Yeah, no, I was like, this seems impossible.
Every time, there were days that Emeroy would spend, because I was over there when that was happening. So Emeroy was texting me because he would spend the night at your place to come back to me, and he's like, get tested. I was like, I got nothing. I not nothing, but I got negative. And then I'm like, what about you guys? He's like, no, we'll test when we get there because the tests are literally over there on that shelf.
Yeah.
And then you guys tested both negative. I was like, what the fuck? But you were sick.
I was sick. And then
colds are still a thing, y'all.
Everyone else in the office was positive. And then I was like, all right, well, so I had to use my PTO for when I was sick that time because I didn't have any sick hours at the time. Yeah. And then this time I was like, well, God damn. And then we did a PCR and my PCR came out positive. So, and yours is still negative.
I told him that
it's still negative
because he was texting me. He was like, well, Lauren tested positive. I tested negative. I was like, but we're taking PCRs. I'm like, listen, if your PCR still comes out negative, I am taking your immune system and bottling it and selling it.
Yeah. Yeah. My roommate, Hugh, because he was like, because he was feeling like a sore throat, and he was like, "How's Kyla and Emeroy?" I was like, "Actually, I need to text Kyla," and I told him Emeroy's still negative, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah, and
another
time
he did
another rapid test, and it's still negative. I'm like,
yeah, and even I'm like,
even today,
how?
I'm like, we're literally in the same house, breathing the same air.
Yeah.
We called Brandon earlier because we're supposed to go to rehearsal today. Every intention to, because I was we came up with several game plans on how to make it work.
Yeah.
And then the first thing we said to Brandon was Brandon, I'm still negative, even though I've been stuck in face with Lauren. I'm still pretty negative. And then
yeah, and I'm like, even after doing that, you're still negative. What the fuck?
Yeah, so and we've been playing stupid games where I'm like,
give me your COVID. At the brewery, we were drinking from each other's cups.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're showing symptoms, I feel so bad because Kyla's she's literally I'm just waiting to get sick. That's what she told me. She's like, I'm just waiting to get sick. I'm like, oh, fuck. And then you're just like, mwah.
Yeah. Is that your beer? Mine now.
Is that your air?
Mine now.
Yeah, we like I said, we had every intention to go to rehearsals, but it's weird because I get for me at least on the temper tantrum side of things, that I'm not there for scouting. I'm not there for any rehearsals.
Yeah, look at you. You're delegating.
I'm slightly stressed.
What is this?
Yeah.
All it took was not COVID for him, but COVID for you.
Kind of. Well, I think it's cool because Brandon and Joey went to do the scouting, and it's being able to shoot it and do it using the polycam and having the 3D setup and being able having them do all the test shots, and I don't know, I feel pretty confident.
I feel confident in terms of what Brandon and the polycam, just being able to do a 3D walkthrough, and then hearing that Joey take the notes like Joy sent me a document of all the different notes and how to approach the shots so that Hugh can do the filming that day. And just like, wow, okay, this is like, it's cool because you know, like it's getting done. It's also a relief because we had a Saturday and we got to just chill, and then
we cleaned.
we ended up cleaning, and then and also, but part of me it's freaking out because you know, like part of me is like the duty of being there. You know what I mean? Like I'm the leader and I have to, like I should be there too to be an example. Like no, but it's also like the whole question is like, do I have to be there for everything?
Well, that's the reason why there's an entire leadership team. So you don't have to be the only leader there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I think part of me that worries about it is, I think with how Fanbiz, what Fanbiz kind of became after I left. It's kind of, it feels like it was my philosophy of family was kind of executed differently for that. So, I mean, who knows? But
okay, I have a question because you're saying that Fanbiz turned out a little bit different than what you wanted it.
Yeah.
And right now, with Temper Tantrum, how things are kind of turning out right now, how do you feel about those two outcomes and how you have your hand in both of them?
in this one right now, this current project.
Yeah, how do you feel about how like Fanbiz turning out the way it did, and how do you feel about that? And then how do you feel about how Temper Tantrum is looking right now and the trajectory that it's going on?
I mean, I feel really good about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I mean,
despite all of the shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, but like it's a, yeah, like the difference is like when I left, like I was no longer like an influence to kind of be the to steer the ship in the how the team should look like. And Temper Tantrum is essentially like they're in a sense driving on their own, but I'm kind of steering, like it's still under the same method, so to speak, and how I'd like things approached, doing the due diligence of everything. So it still feels good. I mean, at this point, Brandon knows how efficient we like to do things. Joey knows how we want to do videos. It's almost like we've been in the trenches enough to kind of know what to do, and we just face unique different problems, but we have a, you know, I really feel like everyone's really played their part really fucking well. Like, God, Joey really kicking ass and being a technical director. Like,
yeah, Joey.
Like, yeah, Brandon booking a great spot. I think it's gonna be a great video.
It looks great.
So yeah, and then also like, you know, I think I'm not gonna go too deep into it. Like one of the things that kind of that affected me was one of the things like one that we talked about, like is it's hard to talk about it without going into it.
Well, good thing that
I can edit it out if you want me to.
Yeah, I don't know if they even listen to it, but
I can edit it out if you want me to.
We'll see.
Good thing you're dating your editor.
I think. Yeah, I think one of the things is that because there's things I filter about like I don't care, I don't care and like not listen to it, which is, and then there's other things that people say. I think it hurts more when I hear I'd say criticism within the company.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone criticizes their job, you know.
Yeah.
And so but it's not like everyone has to manage. You know what I mean?
What?
But for me,
yeah, what was said to you, and why did that hurt you?
I think what hurt me about it with this particular criticism is I feel like it's the opposite of how we've been executing.
Yeah.
So which for me was a trigger, because I mean I've shared with both of you guys like the things that trigger me is like when people question like
Your authority,
work ethic, or the things that's done and all that
without having any kind of backup.
Yeah, without
Exactly.
anything. Yeah, without any
you
evidence.
don't like this, so what should we do?
Yeah, and
what's
then
your solution?
Or like that, and
What's
also
your counter
like,
offer?
not even, or like what's your counter offer, but also what did you experience during this time that's making you say this, and like and then like also take into account other people's experience of it as well.
Yeah.
You know, because it's only one perspective.
Yeah, it's only the one
And
person.
And like that doesn't tell exactly how the situation or even how everything is running, because only one perspective.
Yeah, it was like that's definitely true. Like, well, definitely one person's perspective of what they're experiencing. So I guess that's like the thing that there's this like chip on my shoulder of like I don't know why I have this want to show otherwise.
The want to prove them wrong.
Yeah. It could be just maybe just being unnecessarily competitive about it. It could just be.
It could be also like I know that like that's probably a fear too. Like what if they're right?
Yeah.
And so I need to prove them wrong
Mhm.
because X, Y, and Z is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because again, it again from my perspective, it's their perspective, but it's also my perspective. Seems like it seems like everything is running fine.
Yeah.
So
it's like their perspective and what was said reflecting that perspective was basically saying that what you like how you intended to run the company isn't happening.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah. Oh.
No, like that person's perspective plus what was said to reflect that was basically saying that what's currently happening in the company was not how you intended to run it and how you're intending to currently run it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're saying you're telling us this,
but we don't see it.
Yeah, exactly. They're
I don't see
lying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I don't see it.
What's happening?
No, because that's the common theme in this theme of what's been happening with these people.
Like I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's like just because you guys don't see it doesn't mean that it's not happening. It's happening.
It's
happening. But you're not acknowledging it as the fact that it's happening. It's weird. It's like you can give someone a situation and they will say like this one thing can happen, like and then people will say two different things about it.
Yeah. And I think that what I guess hurt me about it and was that it's the company and the way we run rehearsals and we do everything was optimized based off all of our collective experiences, the ones who've been dancing for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then we know what we don't like in terms of long rehearsals, knowing we need proper breaks, bringing recovery items to make sure you guys are taken care of.
Well, even then, like having a game plan, having long rehearsals, but the amount of things that are getting done during rehearsals does not compare to anything what I've ever experienced. Because in previous teams, we've taken months to put together a 5-minute set, and then we've taken 5 hours here to put together a 5-minute set.
So it's very much like the optimization for like unless they've gone through the ringer we have, they won't appreciate it.
Exactly.
Because like we've optimized it and they still find something to cry about.
Because like, okay, just take or leave my perspective because I'm not in temper tantrum. I just kind of know how it works just because of the nature of my relationship with you, Emeroy, and now too with Lauren, but like, you know, I kind of have some insider information. Also, I help run social media, so I kind of have to know what's going on. But like, and also like even with, yeah, like just, you know, like stuff with like rehearsals and like you mentioned, like, you know, like you guys were bringing like the recovery stuff at rehearsals. I have never had like, you know, like I hadn't performed since like high school, basically. But like I have never had any rehearsal where anyone that's like in charge has brought anything to take care of us besides food. It was always just like, here, eat so you don't die. I mean, also we were young, so we didn't really need recovery things, whatever. We thought we were indestructible.
Snacks to rehearsals and water, and then
but even a lot of teams, like it's like, hey, we're all meeting here.
Bring your own water, bring your own shit. You hungry? McDonald's down the road.
Yeah, that is how it is. It's changing, and I'm glad that it's changing. Yeah, and the people who have experienced it like are thinking better, like thinking like, more about
what didn't we like from our experiences before.
Exactly.
How can we fix that here? So none of them have to go through that. Oh my god, it's like parenting.
Yeah, like growing and moving forward and optimizing.
Yeah.
And I think Temper Tantrum has done a fantastic job at that.
Oh yeah. I have never, like, you guys had that I think the day, Emery, that you picked me up from the day/night that you picked me up at the airport back in May, like you guys were like rehearsing for like 9 hours for 2 things. Like if you did rehearsal for the Yummy video, and then you did rehearsal for the Friends and Family Night.
Yes.
And I'm like, and then Emery was just sending me things, and I'm like, it's done. They rehearsed everything.
Yeah,
like,
we got
like, what the fuck?
Projects done in a month.
Yeah.
My one of my old directors, the other night we were talking. We had an online Zoom crafts night. It was really fun.
Saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah,
that was cute.
And because I left that for a little bit to do a meeting with board for Temper Tantrum, and then I came back, and then I was just telling them like, oh yeah, we had a meeting for this upcoming video that we're shooting that Brandon had an idea for, and we just did a walkthrough. We essentially looked at the place virtually and how like essentially X, Y, and Z, and so we're just planning for it. And my old director was like, props to Temper Tantrum, because you guys have been like turning out videos and projects like this, and so the turnaround time is so fast. Like, and it's really awesome to see you guys like doing all of that and like having like all of this come out efficiently and in like a very like good amount of time. And I was like, and after being on both ends, experiencing like the like being in the board chat, and then also like hearing this from someone who I very much look up to, I've looked up to for my entire dance career, and like to hear that was very. And then I immediately, like after I texted you and I told him like I told him like, hey, like she said this, and it was nice to be for people who've actually been there and who've gone through the ringer for years, for fucking years, like to go from like the toxic dance community to running your own company, like, and running a very like doing a lot of shows and a bunch of shit like that, and having so much on your plate, to have them say that we're doing good is like, I was like, fuck what everyone else says who hasn't been there. Honestly, I'm like, you guys don't know, like, what the fuck, like, I don't have to listen to you. I'm gonna listen to people who get it, done this, who have produced shows on shows on shows on shows on shows, and choreography on choreography, and dances on dances, and who have been told by everyone, you're not doing enough, you're not good enough, you're like X, Y, and Z, and they're telling me that we're doing good. I'm gonna listen to them.
So Yeah, I think I've already made my decision. Like, Max, you can actually keep this or not.
Oh. Okay.
But I'm already meeting with we can keep this or not. What's up? But I'm not gonna. You guys already know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be meeting with them soon, and I've already kind of made a decision in my mind about letting them go.
What's your wording? Like, are you going to
maybe like goodbye now?
Or because this is also something we talk to like with my other group of friends as well. Saying like obviously there are times when you're gonna be with people and then they're gonna be like, I want to be here, and you're like, really?
Then don't.
Like, yeah. So it's like, hey, within the past few months, it doesn't seem that the vibe has really clicked.
Yeah.
So moving forward, are you still interested in staying with us, or do you want to take a break? And do you want to go on sabbatical?
I mean, this is part of the
sabbatical.
I wanted to talk about it.
A long sabbatical
from Temper Tantrum to be there, because y'all know how I can be when I'm just straight up.
Yeah.
And I just be like,
that's true.
I can just end it and be like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
And they're like
there's no more temper tantrum, but there is.
Just not with
like,
you.
There's another group chat.
Oh no, tantrum 2. Oh, TTT.
Wait, well, okay, the Temper Tantrum's IG handle plugging is Temper Tantrum 1. No, this is gonna be Temper Tantrum 2.
Yeah. Because it says Temper Tantrum 1. Oh wait, no, that's the username. Yeah.
So that's not because there was no the original handle wasn't available.
Yeah.
But the format that I had in mind was to be like, hey, how you doing? Casual in sort of like formalities, get a small talk going, get some rapport going.
Yeah.
And then
the vibe's good.
Yeah, and then from there, get them to say like, all right, what's going on? Like, where's this coming from? And then from there, let them list everything that they want to say, and I will I'll just listen. I'll probably mute myself, and then cool. Now that person's done, I'll be talking now, and I'll be putting them on mute. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Because I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna try not to rebuttal or like unless he invites it. But it's more like this is all feedback. And I'm going to let myself be vulnerable to it as much as it triggers me. So from there, I will also kind of the same thing. I really like that open, like the vibes and weird and all that.
Yeah.
And then acknowledge things. Acknowledge things point by point. Boom, 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 boom. But also like add things as in like bring in performance, like the participation. Like it's for me, it's like one of those things like why are you like in terms of like people who want to speak big game but play little.
It's like having a $500 client versus a $5K client. $500 client has a lot to say. $5K client's like payment sent, thanks.
Yeah, so it's that, and then definitely part of my ego wants to go of like, all right, can you share with me your dance experience? And I will share mine. And I will share everyone else's. Because it's one thing to have an opinion, but it's another thing to have to everyone can have an opinion. I can have an opinion on how LeBron James fucking plays the game, but I don't play it. He can have an opinion on how the coach is. He's not the coach. And they can have opinion about me, but they don't have my experience. So honestly, it's one of my it's feedback for them, and also to give them perspective. Yeah, you have an opinion. Where's your opinion stemming from? Of what experience? What have you done? Yeah. Because I'm all fired up about it.
Okay. But, so it seems to me like right now that you've like obviously kind of calmed down from like Thursday and yesterday a little bit because like I remember like Thursday I think when you were driving home you were kind of like ranting to me in the car. Like you were like just obviously very angry about everything else that was happening, plus that. And then you were like, no, this person's out. They're out. I'm like, okay. Okay.
No,
they're out.
in my mind, they're still out.
Oh, okay. After you've calmed down and mulled it over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
because like I know you were kind of like, there was a possibility you were just saying that out of anger and frustration, and then now that you're a lot calmer, it's still there. Then it's still there.
Because here's the thing, though. Like, I one of the things that I made a promise to myself with making temper tantrums that I'm not gonna deal with bullshit.
Yep.
If you're either all in or out. If you have feedback, like let's have a chat. And if it's conducive and if it helps overall, cool. If it's your subjective opinion of you being a little like you in a little pity party and not feeling special, then that's you. Maybe you should leave.
And you've made that very clear when you first started it.
Yeah. So
I wasn't even there, and I know you did.
Yeah. So I'm not. Because I've dealt with a lot of, there's a lot of negativity and just drama on fanbiz, and I just like cool, but they're talented, and like they can contribute. Like there's talents a dime a dozen. We can audition people and make the roster smaller, whatever we want. If we can just have an audition and bring people in, character and how they contribute to the group, chemistry wise, is important. I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with criticism. There's nothing wrong with feedback, but the feedback has to have viable evidence.
Yeah.
So, and then,
I totally agree. Like,
that's how you run VP too.
Yeah.
Like bringing people on. Like I know you've brought people on that may have to be trained up a little, but like they vibe with the rest of us and they were easily trainable.
Yeah.
Like that's why they're still here.
And if I fuck up, I will apologize. I yelled at Camilo for an edit that I fucked up on. And I need to send him an apology video because it was something I got mad at him for, something I messed up on. So if I fuck up, I'll never own up to it. But
never.
If I fuck
That's
up,
why
I'll own up to it. Because, he sent me back a video. Here's what happened. I'm like, fuck. I fucked up. And then now I'm an idiot because I didn't shit, like, because because I didn't check my own shit. So, and rightfully so, he's mad at me, and I take ownership of the mistake. And then, it is, as long as, for me, it's like, I see where I fucked up. Right now, this one, I'm probably operating from a space of frustration about it because it's the second time in less than a month of dealing with this type of issue. And I think the part that frustrates me is that it doesn't hold water to show that I fucked up. At least from my perspective right now, and what I can see evidence wise, but right now it's just my perspective. If it ends up being like how I see, like with the Camilo, with how I messed up, and I see that, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I messed up. I'm sorry. So this one, we'll see what happens in the meeting. But I already have like a thought of it, because even if they continue forward within the next remainder of the year, they're not doing enough to do the minimum of what's required for the company. They're still, right now, they're 5% below the minimum requirement. And I can only imagine how much more they're going to be missing with all the other projects. I'll imagine like 10%. And there's other people too that are like well below, but the thing is, they're not the ones running their mouth.
Yeah. They're just like, I can't make it because
they're genuinely busy. They have other things important that's happening, which is fantastic. Then if there's a reason, like if there's something that's amazing happening in your life, then fucking go all in. And then I will always support that. But if you're just going to be doing the bare minimum and then running your mouth after, then maybe you shouldn't be here.
And the way it was worded too, it was like, I know that like, you know, like all you guys are like friends and like or and stuff, but like just the way it was worded, and because the comment came through to Temper Tantrum's Instagram and not directly to you,
Yeah.
was like, you do realize other people see this, right? Like there's at least one or two other people that can see this besides just you. Like I'm like, I like, why? Like I didn't see it, I missed it. That was sent while I was asleep. Like it was late here. It was also late over there, but it was later here. So I was just like, so I didn't know, like, did you see that message? I was like, no, like, because I didn't see a little one notification thing on the messages part of like the IG, because you got to it first, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And like, and why would you word it like this? Like, we're all friends, but this is still out of pocket, dude.
Yeah, and I think part of it is too is like it felt insulting to the process we put together, because as much as it feels slow and it does take time, it does result in a better product, because we can like it questioned the process in the sense of like, why are we doing so much? I'm not gonna add any more to that, but I've seen videos, and I've been in music videos too, where it's just like, all right, here's the location, and you know, I guess they make it work.
Yeah. And
the thing with the way I like us going into it, I like knowing, like one of my favorite things from Robert Greene, I think it's the 50th law or the 40 laws of power, is knowing your environment. If you feel comfortable in the environment early on and get familiar with it, it won't be a shock to us prior. Or if we come with some sort of idea of shots that we want to do, we'll be able to be effective in our shoots. Because I've also been in videos where my call time was 8 p.m. and I didn't leave until 4 a.m. So, and it's like, why was I? And I sat around a lot.
Yeah.
So like, why am I here?
Yeah.
So, and then that's why like having a shot list, test shots, a previs, storyboards, that helps. Like as much as it sounds like it's a lot, it helps us for shoot day be able to get things done, you know, in 3-4 hours, because there is a thing called diminishing returns. So like we don't want to be there for 6 hours and feel like 6 hours and just be, you know, the energy and excitement's there, and then
it dies.
Yeah.
And then the return on investment of being creative becomes, you know, is more of a chore rather than exciting. Because I think that's one of the things that I saw is, as long as the return on this creative energy, this creative venture is much bigger than the input of work, that we're always going to come back to it. So that's why people like doing the long rehearsals. Like they'll rehearse for like 5 weeks for the
4-minute set.
4-minute set. Just for that rush, because with that high of the event, the performance, everything else, the experience. So it's got to be the same especially for this. So and I felt that.
Oh no,
sorry. Like I just felt like that was an insult to everything we do to prep us to win. So we're not standing around for 7 hours. Yeah. We're if anything, we're up and going for 3 hours. Yeah.
And even then, that prep time in what they were doing, and even in rehearsals, because you can count for all the projects that we have, you can count the amount of rehearsals that we have on one hand.
Exactly.
Like no questions asked. You can look at the schedule. Like you can look back at our emails, and you can look at how much time we actually spent like doing the dancing part, and it does not compare. It doesn't compare at all to the weeks or the 3 days a week of doing rehearsals and the product that comes and the product that comes after. I mean, granted, like being on stage is completely different than being behind the camera, and there is a lot of flexibility that you do have. However, like, I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna argue with, you have this amount of rehearsals and then this is your shoot day and then you're done. Like I wouldn't argue with that. Instead of 2 months instead of like, here's our rehearsals. Oh, we're halfway through. We didn't finish this. We actually have to add some more.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, because it's funny because I remember when we first doing this, like for Shake It Out, Shake It Off, and the Donut Museum. Brandon and I talked like, all right, we're just gonna do quick rehearsals for these several videos, and it's become a staple. And it's so efficient because
you had to do that because of COVID.
It saves us money.
Yeah,
especially since we're not making the dancers pay out of their pocket. We're paying the what do you call it? Patrons and myself are paying for majority of everything, because it's my philosophy. If I'm going to treat this as a dance company, employees don't pay the rent. The employer, the CEO pays the rent. So it saves us money, and it saves us money in regards to rentals and bookings and everything. If we were going to do this more like let's rehearse every week, that's where I may consider having everyone pay. But again, it goes very much against my belief of like, if this is going to be a professional company, like we're not paying for rehearsals. Like when I was on Culture Shock, I don't recall doing rehearsal fees because they're a nonprofit. They got grants. When I was part of Antics, which is another hip hop theater company,
also
I never paid for rehearsal fees. I got paid to be at rehearsal. Yeah. I got like $15 an hour when minimum wage was like minimum wage.
Wait, you said minimum?
Minimum wage. Small people.
Oh my God. Minimum wage.
Oh my God. Can we make that a t-shirt?
Yeah.
It's like the ooh woo face, but like
so yeah, back to like the minimum wage was like 11 something or 12 something. So it's like they're paying us ahead of the curve in terms of minimum wage, along with stipends for when we're touring, along with performing for performing in general.
Reimbursement for winter wear.
Yeah, so I was like it's yeah. So what was I saying again?
We went on a tangent.
Yeah, it was the
temper tangent.
Yeah, a temper tangent.
Temper tangent.
I love the name because there's so many ways we can do the branding.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think I have these thoughts of having us train weekly because I feel like that's what makes us more succinct, or in terms of the dancing. But also, for me, I remember, unless there was like an intention of the rehearsal that day, I was like, oh, we're doing breaking training. Hell yeah. Oh, we're doing whacking training. Hell yeah. Like there's training. But if we're not, but there's other rehearsals where I was like, we're rehearsing, but there's no show coming up. Why are we here? Yeah. So there's that. And then part of like the reason aside from saving money, like the way it's formatted temper tantrum, like in terms of project based, in theory, it keeps the novelty of the group.
Yeah.
Because I think in projects are a great example. Like, oh, we're gonna perform for this one project, and then like when Temper Tantrum was a project, it was all fun because it's there's an end to it.
Yeah.
And then and then with teams, it's fun, but it kind of feels like it's ongoing until there's the end of the season.
Yeah.
With this, like we do kind of like have the 1-year contracts with everyone. But it keeps the novelty of like sometimes you won't see one person or the whole team for a while because you're either busy with your life or you're choosing separate certain projects that are just spread out every other month. So
yeah, because when I rehearsed with you guys, and also like when I was on set with you guys for the Yummy video, and also when we were doing the podcast and reaction videos, it was like everybody was so happy to see each other, like all the fucking time. It's just like you, because like I've been on, like not like a dance team, but I've been like also a dance team, but it was for school. So like kind of the same way, like my dance team friends and like my cheer friends, like I'll see them for like this prolonged amount of time, and sometimes I'm just like, oh, it's you again. It's like the thrill of just seeing these people, like sometimes kind of wears off through time. I don't know, but like I just noticed like everyone was just like so happy to see each other, and I'm like, I like this. This is nice. People love each other here.
Yeah.
I think because I've been on both like a little temper tantrum and I've been on like collegiate dance teams where we do have weekly rehearsals. And I think I'm pretty thankful to say that I was happy at every rehearsal. Like I was one of those like of course there are always times where you're like, oh, that rehearsal, I don't know about the rehearsal, but not because of the dancing.
Yeah.
It was because of like certain things like maybe didn't get done and then like or so like different things going on the outside affecting the inside, shit like that. But I'm thankfully dance has never been a place where I've dreaded to go. And
Same.
yeah, and I'm very, very grateful because I would not go anywhere where it's like, this is not a good vibe because I don't have room for that. No, life is way too short for me to willingly put myself into something that's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're wasting your time. Like, why are you spending time doing this? That's not, no, you don't need to do that. No one needs that.
I do have a question for you guys though, because obviously you've both done the like almost daily or weekly rehearsals and stuff. But also like now, like with temper tantrum, it's just like you'll have 2 rehearsals and then the thing, or like 3 rehearsals and then the thing. Like it's either like the performance or a video. Like, do you think there's more, I want to say pressure, but like I can't think of a better word, but like pressure to get more things done because you have a shorter amount of time for rehearsals before the thing? Because like if you're like back when like your previous teams, we have next week to do it.
I think that I wouldn't say pressure in a negative sense. I would say that it is
more of a drive. There you go.
Yeah, it's forced us to really think of and use our time wisely because in the past I've seen people like I've seen really, really, really good planned out rehearsal schedules and we had a lot of time, and then that became a crutch. Extra time became a crutch, and extra time became time to like some things just didn't get done. And like I know that I don't remember the law or whatnot, like
Parkinson's law,
where like you can have a set amount of time to do something, and like you can have like a week to do something, and then you either get it, like you choose to get it done within that week. But like some people, like if you don't have a cap of when you're gonna have it done, it's not gonna get done. And this having less rehearsals has also forced us to like be way more efficient and also really value what time that we do have. And that's if anything, that's made us like exponentially made our like to-do list, or like what all the things that we've like wanted to get done. Like I feel like we've gotten way more done in a shorter amount of time than things I've been on in the past. And that is like that's a really good foundation.
So and like the absence of like the extra time kind of, I mean, because it's for everyone, not just like leadership, like the absence of like extra time is like forcing anyone involved in like a certain project to actually like just come together and actually work. Because like I remember when I was performing and there were times where we had the extra time. I remember just fucking around. Like I like for like the last 3 hours of one rehearsal, I was fucking around because we had extra time. Oh, I can work on that tomorrow. Like I'll work on my solo tomorrow. It's fine. Like, and when we were rehearsing for the Friends and Fam project, and then Brandon's like, "You're gonna have a solo." I'm like, "What?" It's in 3 weeks, Brandon. So I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it definitely does. It makes everyone more focused. Into it brings a level of activity to their brain, knowing that they're near some sort of, I don't want to say it, like it's kind of a near kind of death. If they don't do it, if they're not ready, then
it's one of those do or die situations.
Kind of it activates their fight or flight. There's like luxury doesn't exist. Like, and if there is, it's probably because if there is luxury, it's probably because you're doing a freestyle and only doing the closer. So
I wonder who that is. Know anyone? Lauren? Emeroy? Know anyone? Who?
So yeah, like so, or like just you're just just chose to be in like one section. The way I think
also with how limited our rehearsals are, it allows other people or like whoever else is on the company to take those days that we're not rehearsing and go like take class or like do other project. It honestly frees up a lot of people's time, and we want that. That's one of the foundations of Temper Tantrum is like, we want, Brandon said this so well, we want you guys to make money. And I'm like,
you right,
I like that.
Yeah.
And people are getting booked. People are opening themselves up to other projects because they're like, oh, I'm not like in, like, I don't have to dedicate X, Y, and Z time to Temper Tantrum because I have this time for myself to train and this time for myself to network outside of Temper Tantrum. I can use what I've learned on Temper Tantrum to help further myself as an artist in this industry.
Yeah. And like, for us, an example for us, like there was a good few months where you and I were doing a show every weekend or every other weekend.
Yeah.
And then Jamie, not too long ago, she got booked. So like it's that the end goal is that we want everyone to get paid, whether it's through us or through their own means. But we don't want to be the reason why people feel obligated to
say no to
not
gigs.
take that on.
And I know that Brandon experienced that a lot in the past. Like I remember him telling me about like the stuff that he chose not to book, and like the end goal of like, and then he's like, I should have just taken that. I lost essentially like this much because I was dedicating this time for this, which didn't pay me.
So
because I feel like with gigs, especially like industry, or I don't know, I wouldn't know, but like it seems to me that like not only are you getting paid to dance, but I think it's also like a networking thing. So while you're there doing the gig, you're networking, you're trying to get booked for the next thing.
Yeah. And then
I'd say so. Yeah,
we've done a handful of performances this year. Like I know one of them was the Trent Park one.
Yeah.
So that we had completely overlooked that during our Q3 review.
I forgot.
And then there's at the end of the day, we're like we want us to get paid, and there's several ways. There's so many ways for the company to get paid, whether it's through live shows or through through us brand building, so we have the audience to support us with any future venues, whether it's like merch or we get sponsorship deals. Like there's a lot of ways.
4 kids last night. I was like 4 kids last night. I was like, do another air flare.
But
you always do this. And I'm like, I want to do real flares.
Hell yeah.
That's a lot of core.
Yeah, it is a lot of core. Okay, I'd use the bathroom real quick.
I can only do that in a video game.
Okay, I'll be right back.
So, I mean, I know that person obviously has had not that much of like, they were like polling at 5% below like the bare minimum that's required for members. So like, do you think that's like a factor of them not really seeing the whole process because they don't go to things like, they barely go to things anymore. They just go to things that like involve what they want to do, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I definitely think that's a factor. Yes.
Part of it is
because that's what I noticed recently.
Like
I was there for one of those.
I could see like, because I know I think they primarily want to focus on the dancing, which makes sense.
Yeah.
They've only participated in the dance projects. So and then probably has a certain way that they think it should be.
Going off of that, I do believe so. Yes, I do believe that the perspective is it is correlated with participation, because even previously last year there was way more participation, and
you're right.
And with the dancing stuff too.
Yeah, the vibe was like way different.
Oh yeah, in terms of like perspective of like their heart being there, much different from
so
so
there
Yeah, I feel like if we were tracking projects last year, which I'm kind of curious to do, this person would probably at 50, maybe 60%.
Yeah.
But things change, and I can see it's that's the unfortunate part, And then this is what I anticipated from the beginning, when the excitement of people
wearing off
at the beginning. But when we're in that actual journey of getting shit done or just trying to work, and it's not always going to look like the way you want it, it can be infuriating, especially if you're not the one steering the ship.
Yeah.
But it happens. Like the excitement is not there. It's like it's almost like a relationship. The excitement's gone. Now there's the actual work, and sometimes it just doesn't vibe.
Yeah.
So right now we're like, honestly, like, I expected this. I anticipated it because it happened with FanBiz. There's a excitement, and a lot of people came and go, and I'm cool with that. People come and go. But I also am aware that eventually we're gonna get there. Like the whole idea of like, I don't know when it'll be. Who knows? We just keep putting ourselves out there. We keep creating. We keep doing all the things. And eventually, like, I think it'll something will stick. We'll get, whether we'll get paid gigs. Either way, we'll get great content, and we'll continue building this body of work. And I feel like what this is now in terms of capability wise and the machine and everything, I think it's definitely up there in terms of what I wanted for FanBiz. But now it's like, I want us to do more shows, and I want us to get paid for those shows. Because if you've ever seen, like, as for me, and I'm sure Brandon, I remember Brandon texting me about this, like, sometimes the people who get booked for these shows, festivals, aren't exactly like the Jabberwockies or Kinjas or Royal Family. Like, they're not at that level.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, but they're still getting paid. So,
I remember. I think there was like a temper tantrum meeting that I sat in for, and he was saying that, like, for one of the gigs he performed it over the summer, that there was like a team or a crew or whatever that performed at that same event that was like,
Yeah.
Yes, Brendan did say that.
Yeah.
There was a parade.
It was Pride. It was Pride. It was a Pride event.
Yeah. And the performer he was like,
oh.
we could do that.
Yeah, for the dance product, I aspire us to be like A tier, S tier, as much as like Kinjas, but we're not those guys. But so at the current roster, I expect us to just put a good, entertaining dance product, because the ideal audience for us that we're trying to sell to is not dancers.
Yeah.
They're not the ones paying us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or like
dancers are just as broke as we are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like, we're not trying to market to them. We're not trying to be like, do like all the crazy musicality. It's like, we're trying to put together something entertaining that can be put on commercials or something,
and maybe impress a dancer or two.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then
throw a flip in there.
Yeah.
Throw like a throw a cute little.
Do it now.
Yeah. But like over time, I've started to appreciate like commercial dance and choreography that's not so like, oh yeah, they hit the and it was awesome.
God, yes.
And and I've learned to appreciate not hitting all of the and counts, because no one can see it.
Yeah.
And even when you look back at videos, you're like, okay. And it's just a moment, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh man, I was working so hard on this 8 count that was like so awesome. And it was and for that, like, and I appreciate that. I really, really do. And it's really cool, like cool musicality in this new age where everything is very, like, very, very fast. Your attention span's like this.
Yeah.
Like
you have less than a minute.
It's not about that one dance anymore. And now it's about like, how much content can you how many dances can you put up?
Mhm.
Like how much can you maximize this like one performance
Yeah.
and like turn it into something that's going to be catching people's attention
Mhm.
like that. Like how's your turnaround time? Which is why it's really cool that that our foundation for pushing out project is really good.
Yeah.
And like because now we're gonna have to compete with this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Especially
it's interesting too, because like my what was it? There was one night my friends and I were hanging out, and we were I made them watch Temper Tantrum performance at Mob for Curtain Call, and then like YouTube like autoplay just went into some of the other performances, and then it went into like competition like videos. Like YouTube just automatically went there, and
Hell
you
yeah.
know, and so I was like sitting there, and they were so confused as to why I was reacting more to the smallest moves, and like the big ones are like, whoa. And I'm like, that guy did a flip. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But like, did you see that?
Did
They're
you
like,
hear that?
you know, that 1 and a 2 and a 3. They're like, what now? I'm like, those are numbers, right?
Yeah, I mean, like that's a perfect example right there of like the regular average Joe will not exactly like see the
intricacies.
So I mean, we'll aim to do that, like, because if it speaks to the choreographer,
Yeah.
and we'll add that. But if it's
Mhm.
but it's not, we're not trying to, create the most difficult looking choreography. We're just trying to feel
For like a commercial.
For a commercial. Oh my God.
like, also at the end of the day, we're just trying to make it entertaining
Yeah.
dancing content. We just want, and we want the
And make
dancers,
it profitable.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
the dancers get to enjoy the process as well. So
Yeah.
So it's, and then it's one of the going kind of, I guess, how this ties back and going to like the whole existential thing of like,
But yeah, that's right. We were existential.
Oh, we were talking about that.
Not anymore. I have a
forget
clear
about that.
purpose.
glorious purpose.
Witness me. Wait.
I love how he says that. Was it? I am filled with glorious purpose.
I am filled with glorious. Wow.
I am filled with glorious poo poo. So,
I call my penis glorious purpose. I mean, did it make you question how you were actually running company? Or did you were just like, no, fuck you? Both.
Yeah.
Expand, please.
I think it made me feel like, comments like that, especially like if like it, I think it happened. This is like 3 things that happened within the span of 2-3 weeks. Yeah, since the beginning of the month. I think the first one was in. Yeah. Anyways, part of it was like made me question it, but like wanting to be here, because the thing is, I remember, is like it's like I'm grateful that these people are comfortable talking to me, because it means that they're comfortable in saying things to me, to be honest, and it's great.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, to them, it's a one-on-one.
Yeah.
To me, it's a one on everyone. So that weight eventually becomes heavier and heavier.
Yeah.
So like, and especially the earlier in the month when I had to deal with it twice, and now adding it here, it feels like it's a lot. Because it's part of it is once you start getting feedback like that, it's like it's okay, albeit it's all different individual feedback, but when it does come up, it's for me like, damn, I don't want to fucking deal with this. And then part of it is like, and then there is the part that you said like, no, fuck you, but obviously I refuse to operate in that sense of saying fuck you.
Respectfully, fuck you.
Because it's that's operating from anger, and it's not a productive conversation, and it's not coming from empathy, and it's like the higher road. The higher road is a son of a bitch, dude.
Yes,
it is exhausting, because while you're putting all this effort to be working the higher road, they're just operating from their own egos, trying to to share their point of view and what they think is right, and versus, and albeit everyone has their own opinion, but it's like, then as I receive this feedback, sometimes which sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't, but it's what's being closely watched, especially in a position of leadership, is how I respond to it. I can't go. I at least like when it comes to those situations, I think I'm a lawful good.
Yeah.
Like I want to make sure that we do our due diligence of let's hear them out, let's have the conversation, let's be empathetic about it, give them an opportunity to speak their piece, and if it's not working out, then what do you call it? Then
and at least you did your part.
Yeah, then because we did everything in our power to do it the right way. Because then instead of telling them off, and then escalating a situation, then it becomes a whole fucking thing on social media.
Oh yeah.
And then
those are great.
I want to handle those things, those conversations in-house.
Yeah.
And it's not issues are not like that, are not meant to be, as entertaining as it is to watch. It's not fun to
you don't want it to happen to you.
It's not fun to be a part of that. So and I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, especially especially that the way I kind of like I said, everyone can talk to me easily. There's no barrier of HR for them to talk to them and then filter and come back to me. Though I do understand why that exists now, because this type of mental energy is a drain from operating.
Yeah.
And I could see why there's barriers now. And it's honestly something I might be considering.
Yeah.
Because it's
I think that's a good idea.
Because because that now I'm spending 2 hours trying to deal with this thing instead of operating.
Instead of running the business.
Yeah. So
to kind of go off of that, because we've being in previous leadership positions that I've experienced, I've seen the mental toll that it takes on the person, on the CEO, and I always use this example. Because I worked for Tesla for literally 3 weeks, but there was, I don't remember if this was actually, I think it was actually a rule. It was that you cannot email Elon directly or you will get fired. And I'm like, that's a great rule because Elon's not going to take the temp or HR or my supervisor's suggestions on how to run Tesla. No, and that's kind of how you got to take it. And that's why you have an HR, and that's why you get fired for emailing Elon Musk directly. Yeah. And because if Elon decides to use that 2 hours instead of using that time to run the business, then can you even imagine how how precious his time is as opposed to yours? Yeah. And you don't even know what's going on at the top, essentially.
Yeah. They
I mean, it's kind of the same. It's almost an unwritten rule in every corporate environment. Even where I work, it's a really small nonprofit, but nobody emails the CEO directly, especially if they have something to say about the company. We go through HR. I just go through my own boss, who goes through HR.
Yeah. See, and I hate
bureaucracy, but I kind of get it sometimes.
Yeah, I get it too, because from my perspective, fuck, this is, and then and I share it with you guys, and I see how it affects everyone. So, and it's and then
you see the domino effect that it has.
Yeah, so it's and then part of the reason why I wanted to have the open door policy is because it was
you're more relatable. You're humanized, essentially. This having the open door policy allows people to see that you're not just a robot.
Yeah.
But other people don't have the weight of the company on their shoulders. You do.
Yeah. Then that's what a lot of people don't understand. Is like I said, they have suggestions, but they're not the ones dealing with everything. Not just, I hardly choreograph. I'm just trying to do all the million things you guys know about, and then
And not just for temper tantrum.
Yeah.
But for vision paradox and also for Emeroy TV.
Yeah. So and then along with that, it's like dealing with that way with anyone who's like a number 2 or number 3 or number 4, they don't have to deal with that necessarily, because they can put input, they can share thoughts, they can empathize, but ultimately they have the choice to walk away from it because they don't have to make that decision. They don't have that weight. Like it's the difference of being a child, a son or a daughter, to being a parent.
Yeah. Also,
because you can tell mom and dad whatever you want, but it's different when you're actually
when you're mom or dad.
When you're mom or dad and you make the decisions, so.
Because like on paper, it's nice to have like a CEO or any like leader that isn't just someone that like, just parks themselves in the back or the front and barks orders and like, and is completely inaccessible other than that. Like it's on paper, it's nice on the people that work for that leader. But like for the leaders, a lot more pressure now because you're making yourself available, you're making yourself more vulnerable to all of this, and now you have to deal with it mostly on your own. Then it's like I would never be able to understand that pressure, but I see it. I sometimes feel the effects of it.
I mean, you guys both heard the effects of it the other day, so yeah. It's it's hard to, because that's the goal I want. Like I want to build a culture of like caring, and to me it's kind of hard. It doesn't read caring if I have to go through, if at least from the perspective, if I heard that and I see the CEO like, oh yeah, we care, but you have to go through HR. Do you really care?
Yeah.
Know what I mean? But it also makes sense, the two different perspectives. It also makes sense for the person on top to kind of get filtered on what to care about.
Yeah.
So they can save that person, because everyone like has such a finite amount of time. And there's another message I shared, like I can't listen to every single person's qualm or suggestion, otherwise the progress is slow. My job as the leader is to make decisions and an effective CEO makes decisions fast, and if there's mistakes, make decisions fast again, because it's like, because I don't know, like that's the, I really felt that weight the other day, and I think, and it's been a while that I've felt, and I think I felt that frustration of I felt like everyone wanted something from me. I needed something to fix something, and it just, I don't know. I was wondering if I was actually just being burnt out, and I think it was more like because things are just getting more annoyed than usual, and I think I might be, and I think I probably need a proper, not a day off, but like a me time where all my notifications off and I'm just in my little dojo of work, because this is
kind of going back to like the open door policy and like the accessibility to you specifically. Do you think that also, do you think that's kind of like a two-way street, that like it'll work well for both ends, the leadership end and the like member end, if the people that were being brought on can also just like vibe with that and are able to utilize that access to you like properly without fucking with you, basically.
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, because I've not really experienced that, but like I have seen like people that like would be in like leadership positions, maybe not really CEO or whatever, but like some sort of leadership position that like have some sort of open door policy. It's like, can come to me for whatever. And then there are people that would literally just abuse it. Like,
no, literally what? Just
abuse
what?
Abuse it.
Maybe instead of having it all the time, you can have like a town hall meeting.
Office hours.
Yeah, office hours. Or, well, the thing is like
I mean, I feel like the Q3, the check-in quarterly check-ins are like the town hall meetings.
Yeah.
But they don't really use that. They then go in and like message you privately.
Or have the open door policy and then also add in like, yes, this is an open door policy. However, if I feel that it is appropriate for me to bring this to my board of directors, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Like to have, like, as in, like, they also.
Yeah. Like, so that people know, like, I can message you. However, if I do, then whatever my qualm is also goes to board.
Yeah. That there's a possibility this will go to board.
That there is a possibility that it will go to board.
And then what? It becomes like a.
No, and then it's like, then
we'll take it from there.
Yeah, then it's like board takes it from there so that they know that it's not.
I heard that.
Wow, that was loud.
So it's like, because I'm pretty sure that this would be like messaging you is different, thinking that it's just going to be between me and you. Yeah. And then if you're like, hey, I'm going to let you know right now that I think this is appropriate for me to bring to board and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that will already have them be their own filter as to what they're going to bring to you.
Yeah. Because it's you, they think they can just say whatever.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean,
like,
I think that
a lot of like basically a lot of it, like everyone in Temper Tantrum joined because of you.
Yeah.
Actually,
I joined.
Yeah.
Brandon. Brandon.
A lot of people. I said a lot.
I know.
But like Brandon has been recruiting. I feel like you're still like recruiting other people.
You're still in recruitment mode.
Yeah. Do you feel like you inspired some people to recruit? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
yeah.
people like yeah.
They're very likable. So, yeah. So I have not said that I wanted to quit something in a long time.
Yeah.
Like clients.
Whatever.
But the difference between clients is that they're paying you.
Yeah. They pay you.
Yeah. But
these dancers are not paying you.
Yeah,
they're just giving you lip.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's true. And then the difference is like this is also like a passion project. This is something that I care about, and it's coming from that.
Yeah.
From clients, they're paying me like, oh, okay,
cool, whatever.
Bye.
Yeah. You want out? Bye. Or I want out. Bye.
But yeah. But things are better now. I do have a game plan. I do like the fact that it's kind of calm from it. I did have like a paragraph ready in response, and I didn't write it out. Yeah, and you guys have seen.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we even talked about it of the other one, but yeah, like
No, it's a little bit too soon for it to be a podcast. Okay. Actually, no, this isn't true because
it's coming out next week or in 2 weeks, depending on how fast I edit.
And it can come out in 2024.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, even then, like the other issue I had to deal with, I feel like I dealt with that point by point, and I, addressed it in every which way. And then
we're talking about this last one or the other one?
The previous one.
Okay. That one.
So, yeah, and I think as far as I know, it's handled.
Yeah.
Because nothing else came after that, but
yeah.
You never know, and that's the thing with these. Like when I
got a lot to say.
When I have conversations, when I have texts, I am aware that these things can be screenshotted and shared.
Yeah.
And then it can be easily like, look at this toxic MFer, the way they're talking to me. And then it's also kind of one of the reasons I record everything, because then I have receipts, I have proof on my end.
Yeah.
So that, but also in my head, this is I'm also reporting myself. I have to look at myself. If I'm conducting myself in a way that I'm not proud of, I see that. So yeah. So it keeps me accountable. It keeps them accountable in what they say, because either it's receipts or content.
Yeah.
So
right now it's content.
Yeah, but it's because there was an Instagram reel I remember seeing, like, never suffer for free. So,
oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, so make it. Yeah. So yeah, definitely feeling better. feeling more baseline. Like I said, it's been a while that I've felt like I wanted to like legit quit everything and just start. Like I think you said it a couple weeks ago, have a hard reset.
Yeah.
Just like not
Power cycle yourself.
just like clean slate.
Yeah.
And I honestly like had a bit of a thought of like, if I moved, like this is playing high, like weird, just out of frustration. Like, what if I had moved to Arizona, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be dealing with this, quote unquote. But who knows? I probably would still be.
You still will be
if I'm still running.
The internet exists.
Yeah,
And
but
this was through the internet.
yeah, this is still through the internet.
Those comments happen through the internet.
Yeah, but it's like the whole thing of like leaving and starting anew.
Yeah.
So and then
Compound.
Where no one knows your name.
yeah, except Jordan.
Except Jordan and Steph. That's it.
Jordan and Steph, and that's it. So there is that, but then I also like feel like that high is just temporary, and then I'm like, fuck this, it's hot. I'm going back.
It's hot over there right now, but like fuck.
Yeah, last week was
Arizona is Satan's butthole.
Yeah, last week was your first time in Arizona, so how was that for you?
That was Satan's butthole.
Oh, it was. And then 2 days later, I went to Vegas.
Oh shit, yeah.
Compare and contrast the 3 different deserts.
So desert
Okay.
A, desert B, and desert C.
Going to Arizona because we were driving, and I think the thing that really I was like, it's hot here, was when it was like 9 or 10 or 11 at night, and it was 104 degrees outside.
That makes sense.
And this really hit me because the windows were hot.
Oh yeah,
I was
everyone
like,
telling me that.
"Ooh," like
Can't
I've
even
never
lean on the window.
experienced this before. This is a brand new experience for me. And so that, and then like I think like getting out of the car and experiencing the heat, that wasn't bad because we would just go back into air
Yeah.
places.
It's
And
quick.
it wasn't like going on a hike, and I don't think I would ever do that. That sounds like a horrible time. No,
Oh, I want
that
that
sounds
challenge,
dumb. Yeah, so like I think it was fun, and I would love to explore more. The town was like super cute, and my favorite place was Salad and Go because a salad was like less than $7, and it was
Jesus
freaking
Christ.
huge. Yes, it was massive, and I understand why
People move there.
why yeah, well, I understand like why in California like this would not be a thing.
Yeah.
Because it'd be California is just an expensive place to live, but the reason it is because it's not the fucking devil's ass crack.
It's also not Satan's butthole.
Yes, and I was like, oh, I understand why they don't have the certain business tax or whatever over here.
Yeah, business
Yeah.
taxes
Yeah.
are a thing here.
Yeah, and I get it, I understand, but I would still live in California.
Oh yeah.
But Vegas, oh yeah, and then I went to Vegas literally like 2 days later. It was great.
All the deserts.
Yeah, and actually I don't know why, but I'm used to Vegas, like going to the hotels and drinking and all of that shit and partying, and it just being like, oh, this time I brought a fan, like a big fat fan. And it was since it was a statement piece, there were guys coming up and they're just like, oh, can I get a fan? And I'm like, ah, and and it was nice because honestly, it was just a smart idea. I was like,
That's
God,
me
it
pride
is
all the
hot.
time. Me and my giant
Yeah,
fan.
I'm like, bitch, it is hot in here. Like, so that was, and surprisingly, that when I didn't bring it with me was to the pool, which I felt like was the most appropriate, but I didn't. Yeah, I had 2 really cute fans, and I did not bring either of them. So, but also, yeah. So
Honestly, I would have lost a fan at the pool, so I wouldn't have brought it either.
We had a cabana, which was nice, and we were just kind of chilling, and like the heat wasn't like so bad because we were in because we were in the shade. But okay, Treasure Island, y'all, they need to like remodel that shit. It is
God, it's so old.
Yeah, like, and I think the part was like, because they have the DJ out there and they have the kids playing in the pool, but you know how there's like, there's adults who want to have adult swim, and then there's kids who want to actually like play in the pool, and there was only one pool, and I was like, like that's unfortunate, and it feels like kind of gross too. Yeah, so that was like, that's why I think that's the biggest reason why I went in the pool once and I was like, I'm good.
Keep your wretched away from my children.
Yeah, I took a shower. Like, I think all of us were like, when we go back to the room, we're gonna take a shower. Yeah. Just
kind of grody a little bit
really quickly. I feel like the desert, in both times the desert wasn't so bad because it's not like I'm actually spending time out like on the strip or like it out in like the weather because I'm inside because it's just unbearable. But I definitely I would say I wouldn't want to. I really appreciate living in California. I very much so appreciate living.
Yeah, the huge drop from the drive here, from Phoenix to here, 104. Then by the time we're parked here, it was like 76.
Oh my God, it's wild. The ocean is amazing, man.
I think Emeroy and I were having, because I think I brought up with Emeroy a couple of yesterday, I think, that like my eczema flaring up, and he asked me what was causing it. And I'm like, it's the heat. He was like, why doesn't it happen here, like over there? And I'm like, because it's dry. Like the heat stings, like the dry heat stings.
Yeah. Oof.
But that's all it is. Like all I need to do is stand in the shade and it's already 10 degrees cooler. And it's like already bearable. Here, I'll stand in the shade and it feels worse.
Oh God.
Even the overcast days feel a lot worse because it's about to rain. So it's even more humid. So there was a day where I was still house sitting and I was like, oh, there's a gelato shop, just a 10-minute walk, 8-minute bike ride. I was gonna take the bike.
Yeah.
I walked out. I smelled the air. You know how you can smell that it's about to rain?
Yeah.
I smelled it. I was like, nope. I got dressed and everything. I was just like, going out for gelato. Sent the picture to Emeroy, and I was like, never mind, it's gonna rain.
Oh.
It wasn't just rain, because I looked at the weather. I'm like, is it just rain? Like, can I get wet? I'm like, no, this is a thunderstorm. I'm out.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Thor.
Yeah.
One of the favorite things that I heard about Jordan, that he didn't like California as much because it was cold.
Oh my God.
He's used to the heat. He's adjusted. Oh, baby.
No, don't.
One of my favorite things, whenever I'm over in Arizona, I always end up seeing Arizona TikTok, and it just sort of suggests it. And it says, you're in Arizona when 80 to 80
cold.
to 90 degrees is cold. People are putting sweaters on and sweats. It's so hot.
When it gets to like 45 here, I wear shorts.
Yeah, so I've met people that like Max and all that. They come from cold weather, and then the cold weather for us is warm for them. It never occurred to me for the reverse. Hot weather then coming here is cold as shit. So yeah, that trips me out, man. Weather is weird.
Weather and the human body is very crazy too. Yeah.
I remember one of my February, I think it was like 2019, like Emma and I went out to dinner for like my last dinner there, like for that trip. And I think it was February. So there was this girl that was in like full on sweatpants and a puffer jacket saying, oh my God, it's so cold. I don't know what the temperature was. All I know is I was wearing a t-shirt and short shorts. And I was like,
California cold.
I'm hot. I'm sweating. Hot. Ma'am, I'm sweating looking at you.
She's probably from Arizona.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe she's from the Midwest and has lived in California long enough. I don't know. She's probably from like Chicago. What would be the opposite of Satan's butthole? Santa Claus's butthole. There you go. Santa's butthole.
Yeah. Or the Yeti.
Or the Yeti's butthole.
Yeti's butthole.
Yeah, that would be the Midwest in the winter. Oh. The Yeti's butthole.
Yeah. Oh God, remember when I was I remember when what do you call it? The
When you went on
say at my
tour?
mom's place, I was staying in her bed. The top, I was on the second floor, and we got a tornado warning.
Yeah.
And then it would the whole second floor was shaking like a freaking earthquake. Earquake. Like an earthquake. Because whenever I would just be playing Switch and I'd feel the house move, I'm like, earthquake. And then I look outside and I
Tell me you're from California without telling me you're from California.
yeah, well, because for me,
Under the table.
the weather warnings are like people react to it differently. Like for me, I've never experienced a tornado.
So
I
you're
was
like,
talking to
"Ah."
my mom.
That sounds
Yeah.
very terrifying.
like,
My God.
I think I told I was like, do we have a shelter? Do we need to go anywhere? Like, we'll be fine. It's just
No,
a
we're
warning.
fine. Yeah.
It's just a warning.
Well,
My God.
With you, when there was that the fire warning, you were like, it's just a warning. I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
my God.
We did that
Yeah.
podcast with Team Groove.
the thing was like over the mountains,
Yeah.
and I got a evac warning because of the fire, and I put all my stuff in my van. I was just waiting for the
actual order.
actual order to leave.
Oh wow.
So I
That's
was,
terrifying.
but I was I was in the middle of a podcast
Everyone was offering their place.
with
Oh, that's
yeah,
nice.
it was in the middle of a podcast with the kids I used to coach.
Yeah.
We're trying to do a teen group podcast, and they're like, I looked at it, the notification I got, and said, "Oh, there's a fire evac warning." Okay, guys. So
Okay, anyway,
I insisted on trying to continue with the podcast, and they were like, "No, you need to
No.
go."
Mark was like, you
Good
can
for
stay
these
here.
kids. God damn it.
Mark was like, you can stay here, dude.
Yeah, like that, and they all like kind of figured like, yeah, you'd probably still be filming when last minute as everything is on fire,
Your hand
and you're
would be, your
driving
hand would be
away.
outside of the van, like filming.
You're the
thing.
dog. The dog sitting in the room
Yeah,
where
this is fine.
fine.
This is
This is
fine.
fine.
A great shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that. Look at how good this lens get this flame. Oh man.
It'd be like a storm chaser, but like fire.
Oh my God. Have you watched
Fire
Twin?
chasers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God. That movie horrified me as a kid.
I thought it was
Yeah. I was
That made me
very
not want to live
scared.
in the Midwest.
the size of those things, or
yeah. And then I was like, what are they doing?
Oh,
They're gonna die.
do you guys remember the try
I
not
used
to
to
get
watch the
anxious
actual
challenge?
show. What?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
What
yeah,
like
yeah.
the guys where they're just sitting in their house and
Oh yeah.
the
Oh yeah,
tornado was happening.
making a sandwich, and then there's this
Yeah.
tornado.
I know.
For
I
him.
mean, I used to watch the reality show Storm Chasers, like on Discovery Channel. I
Oh
was
my
just
God.
like, I would never do that, but woo.
I wonder if you get caught up in a tornado and if you have a parachute and you get just tossed out.
You would die.
You think that
You would get torn
the
apart
wind
by
would
the
just
actual
take you?
wind
Well, like
velocity.
Dorothy. Like,
What, you gonna ride a bike too?
What am I gonna do? If you have like a parachute, you know, like or if it tosses you out, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, well, it depends on which way it's going.
my God.
But obviously there's the debris.
Wind
Yeah,
velocity, you're gonna
there's
get torn around.
How maybe just
Stupid cow.
You can get torn apart just from the wind velocity alone.
Oh my God.
And then there's debris.
Yeah.
Ow.
Who's debris?
Oh, did you hear about the fire in the cheese factory in France?
What?
There's a lot of
No.
there was a lot of debris.
Stupid.
No,
Uh,
I want.
I will see myself out. Bye.
yeah. Okay, I think it was a solid 2 hours, huh?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Anything
It's
else?
124.
Okay.
I don't know. Everybody go to
Last
therapy.
things?
Everybody therapy.
Oh yeah. Oh, I started
Oh, you
therapy.
started therapy. How was
I
that?
did.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You.
Yeah, I have to do my journal assignment. I felt like I was just talking to like a third party, and of course this is like my first time. So just essentially getting a flow of like, well, I was like, how do I prepare for this? And she was like, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay. And so she let me talk she like asked me questions about like what I was seeking in therapy and how I wanted to move forward, essentially. And just kind of asked me very, very objective questions. And like I think there was one question about how, like, is there anything that I've been experiencing in my life that I've felt has held me back from achieving my potential or like my goals and stuff like that? And then I was like, I've never thought of that, because I've always felt that I've tried to incorporate things that would help me move forward, because to me, I'm like, that seems dumb. Why would I
do that?
Oh, and then I looked back and I was like, oh, probably like relationships that I've been in the past, where I wanted it to work out and it didn't seem like a good idea to keep pursuing the relationship. And I was like, oh wow. Yeah. So that was some, like, it gave a different perspective and a different filter on how I could essentially like move forward. And so that is what I was looking for. So I have another section booked for section.
In your book?
No, I have another session booked for next week. So I do need to do my journal assignment. Yeah. Yes.
Yay, therapy.
Oh, and I got you a new one.
Yay! I'm excited.
That was because I was looking through that, and that was something that's something I already do with my current therapist, like now, like without like having that type of format. But it was something I wish I had with my first therapist, because we never did something like that. Like I would go blind into every session. Like for you, first few sessions feels like you're going blind because you're kind of just you're starting.
You're kind of gauging that relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So with my previous one, like every session, I was just going into it blind. Like I don't know what she wants to do. I don't even like I don't have time to think about what I want to talk about, because there was like at that point there was like no prompt for me to think about it.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't getting any journal assignments. It was just like, think about it. I'm like, think about it. So obviously that's why like I stopped with that one. So with this one, it's just like, yeah, so we would do something similar to that. So that notebook was something I wish I had for my first therapist. I was like, maybe this will help Lauren.
Thank you.
I'm like, there you go.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. And I think especially like having this first one where like she didn't give me like not starting the session, like essentially kind of coming in and just being like,
hello.
But of course it's like, it's my first session. So it's like they have to get a gauge for how I am and to see essentially like what is like, where am I at and where am I trying to go? And so and so if I have a homework assignment beforehand on prepping for this one, then it's like it kind of defeats the purpose. So I was like, okay. I've
been with my therapist, this therapist now for, well, I wouldn't say that long, but because, you know, like I had this like period of time where I was doubling up on sessions, that my therapist has really gotten to know how best to get me to be more responsive and receptive. Like it started with letting me eat during sessions, just like, oh, like just like, oh, they respond better when they're eating, cool. And now it's just like, and in order for me to get to a point that she's trying to make, she wants me to get there myself. So I'm just like, this bitch knows me way too fucking well, and if she's driving a Tesla, I essentially paid for it.
Like similar, well, for me with my sessions, I just start rambling, and then not similar, sorry, but like just share my experience with my therapist, and she just and 20 minutes in, I'm like, oh shit, I just realized I started talking and I didn't even ask, you know, how they were, because you know they kind of ask. And then
at the same time, you are also paying for that.
That's what I told you. I was like, that's kind of an unwritten rule that you don't ask how they are, because you're not friends.
Exactly. Like the therapist is specifically there to help guide you through your shit. Like that's their job, man. Let them do their job.
And it was definitely like, oh man,
Because like between the three of us and then like, with our friends, and obviously it's like, how are you? I'm blah, blah, blah. How are you? With therapists, it's just like, so here's what's happening.
Yeah, like, shit. I don't have a therapy session this Tuesday, but I'm honestly thinking about booking one about recent tomfoolery.
I would recommend with all the fuckery. I mean, I had to call mine for a 15-minute call.
It was definitely, man, it was, yeah. And it's one of those things, like I try to go every other week because I want to, what do you call it? Just have free time to work on my shit. Not have to go dedicate an hour to that. But, and yeah, I feel like I have some tools, but shit just got heavy.
Yeah.
So I feel
real
like,
fast.
yeah.
In a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like literally, like after I left from your place, an hour later, I'm here. Yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
Not even when you got there. It started on the drive.
That's right. Yeah.
It started on the drive back.
You messaged the leadership.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. It started on the drive back. Like it didn't even happen when you got there. It got like it. I think because you were driving, you were trying not to think about it too hard, because then you get angry and then you drive, you're angry and danger. But like, as soon as you got there and like actually got to sit in it, I was like, you were just like, well, I was like, okay, I listened.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, man, it didn't help I was hungry either, too, dude.
Oh, there's that.
I was hangry.
Yeah, I was like, I'm fucking hungry. I'm like, what do you want to eat?
Oh yeah, shit. I lost my temper that day.
Yeah.
I was like, I got really mad. And I projected it onto that box over there. I just kicked it.
And your food.
Yeah. And my food?
Yeah, you throw it from the door when you picked it up. I was like, your food's here.
Oh yeah, damn.
And you were like, okay. You grab it and you're like
I lost it. Yeah, shit. I was done that day. Like, F everything, F everyone. I want to sit and lie down. The thing is, when I like sit and lie down, it stews. Like, I want to handle it right now, but I can't. Or it feels like I can't. Or it feels like I feel powerless to change it instantly. And I feel frustrated because I want to handle it now, but I also don't want to handle it in this state of mind.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so it's because you're not the kind of person that's like, I'm gonna sit and do nothing because I'm mad now. That's me sometimes with work. Like, I'm just gonna, nope, I'm done. Like when we had our Existential Monday, I had a mountain of other work to do. I just had it. I was like, no, fuck it. I'll just call. Like, I called you. I was like, nope, I can't. I'm gonna sit here, do nothing, and call you.
That happens to me sometimes at work, and I'm in that state of mind, and I'm like, crap, I'm on company time, and I really want to work, like get the shit done, and then sometimes I'm just sitting there for like 10 minutes, and I'm just really trying to process, and then be productive and move forward.
Yeah,
because I'm on the spot, and I'm like,
yeah, and I think feeling that, and I definitely felt it even more Friday, because for 2 weeks I had said I'm going to work on this fucking report.
I mean, you were working on it a little bit, but I think you were just like before you left for Lauren's, you were just like, oh, I'm trying to do this. I'm like, oh, he's actually working on it. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go to Lauren's now. I'm like, all right, so it's not done.
Because you know why? Me and my fucking...
Because you were like trying to change something.
I didn't try. I did. I completely fucking changed everything in how to present data.
Yeah.
So that it clearly communicates what I wanted to say. Yeah. And like, this is much better. But I have to do that for everything now.
Yeah. Because you spent an hour and a half, like changing everything, and you were showing this makes sense, right? I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. Now you have to do it for everyone.
I was supposed to leave at 5 to your place.
Yeah.
Oh.
With it on Tuesday, but then no.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Then I at 4:30, and then I got into this rabbit hole of just I need to make this much at least before I leave.
I mean, we got to where we needed to go.
Yeah. Because I was working too, so like I was doing a bunch of other stuff too, and I'm like, and I looked at the time.
I didn't look at the time until he was like, hey, look at this for me real quick. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And I looked at the time, I'm like, he should have left by an hour ago. Okay.
But it makes sense though. Like
I appreciate the extra hour and a half to spend with you, but are you supposed to be with Lauren by now?
But now that it was
I
worth
think
it.
it was good. Yeah.
Like when I presented
yeah.
it to you guys, it makes the data makes more sense.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
yeah. And everything's good.
and it still got done. But it was like one of those things of like, I feel the deadline coming, and for me, I want to be on offense rather than defense. So I didn't want them to be like messaging me a Friday, like, hey, where's it at? It was I wanted to send it to them before they even have to think of messaging me.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. It was once I have to explain myself, I'm on defense. And
yeah, that's like the worst fucking place to be.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on defense all the time at work.
Me too.
Yeah. And I'm, when you're like trying to get ahead of it, but then that means you have to do so much fucking catch up.
Yeah. Or you have to like you have to go above and beyond.
Yeah, and it's like a hole that was dug, and you're like, how did I even get here?
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen? How could this happen to me?
Okay.
And you're like,
Yeah, because like at work, there's like there's like other times where like I could deliver something like very quickly, and it's something that they liked, like the design, like everything was good, like it was on brand. It was barely on brand, but it was on brand. And they were like, no, that's good, like I like this. And then I deliver something similar another time, but like it took a little longer because they had other shit to do. And they're just like, basically they're asking me to explain myself why I did this, why I did that, because they wanted it to look a completely other thing. But I'm like, you never told me you wanted it to look like what you wanted it to look like. So we have a deadline that you imposed on me at the last minute. So now I have to explain myself as to why I did what I did. How about you just do it yourself because you wanted it to look this way from the beginning?
Or give clear directions of what they want.
Or give clear directions in the beginning. Because like the thing is, the thing that they wanted it to look like already existed. All they have to do is just change a picture and change a color. And like change a date on something, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you could have done that yourself if you wanted it to look exactly like this. Because I was just like, because I did something that was like way different. It was new. And I was like, here you go. This is nice. She's like, yeah, but I wanted it to look like this. Like, then why didn't you do it yourself? Or tell me ahead of time so I can just grab that template and go.
Yeah.
And actually beat this deadline, because I don't like making deadlines. I like beating deadlines.
Yeah. Like set them up to win.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Set the team up to win, so that way the job is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and they're not trying
and
to
now they want to
scramble.
reduce my hours.
So
I'm like, good luck.
yeah, it's a lot of fun to be like, if like I think I almost feel like the part of being a leader is setting your team up to win and not just barking orders. So like,
and that's what you've been doing.
And then taking responsibility when you fuck up, or and it's also just having the hard conversation. And it's like, I feel like I like having these conversations are like a mental battle and fight, like going into the ring, and I come out of it feeling stronger, feeling confident, and it happens again. And it's like, it's like, it's almost like going to doing battles.
The gauntlet.
Like it's like you throw down your set, you throw your moves, you're done with the battle. And hopefully it's mainly a good, amicable kind of, everyone's on good terms in a sense. And the difference is it's not a matter of winning, who's the winner. It's like everyone winning.
Yeah.
So it's operating instead of like having sickest moves to more who has showing the one who shows the most empathy, or who creating a win-win situation. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yay.
Anything else for anyone?
I almost cut my bangs today. Oh yeah. Speaking of existentialism, I almost cut my bangs today.
Wait,
I
okay.
didn't.
I know that there is the trending meme of, oh, almost cut my bangs. You know what the solution is? Therapy.
I mean, yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't cut my bangs, because I'm in therapy.
But bangs are cute. Like
High maintenance.
Well, isn't it like after you cut it, then don't some people like feel immediate regret?
If they do it wrong.
yes, if it looks like shit.
Yeah.
I've had that. Where I cut my bangs way too short, and then I was like, and then they grew out, and then I was like, oh yeah, hair grows.
It's just hair.
Wow, that blows my mind. Like that this is a thing.
What?
Like just cutting of the bangs.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, it's not just bangs, but like bangs is like the biggest. Besides shaving it fully off or going super long from super long to super short, bangs is like one of like transformer because it transforms your face.
Yes, immediately.
It transforms your face. Like,
oh my god. Wait, I'm so sorry. There's an episode of the Kroll Show.
Oh my god, yes.
Yes. Like, I got bangs. Oh my god, wait, you have to insert that in
I'll
here.
put it in. I got it.
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Considering like what? Bangs! I got bangs!
Yeah, we'll watch it in a second. But yeah, it's really funny. It's really
I'll
funny.
insert this in post.
Yeah. But bangs. Yes,
Bangs.
please keep going. Yeah.
But yeah, no, because like the many times I used to cut my I had friends that were like, because I put it on my story, I'm like, bangs or now. I had friends that were like, I mean, I've known like for the longest time that I've known you, you had bangs. Like the default maxi was red hair and bangs.
Oh.
I was just like, oh, you're right. Because like I haven't had bangs in a long time, and I'm like, maybe? Nah, I don't like that. Because like before, because I actually had the time of day to maintain the bangs. Now I'm just like, because like when I cut my hair like months ago, I cut it short enough for it to, when it grows long, it's still fine. So I'm just like, I cut it so it's low maintenance. So if I do bangs now, I'm just like, no, then I either have to maintain it or deal with a weird growing phase.
Period. Yeah.
What inspires you guys to have the confidence to cut your own hair?
Mental breakdowns.
I don't
also just the balls.
want to go to.
I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't want to pay for it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think also
if all I wanted was bangs, I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, because I'm like, I know my own hair, and then I could just, if anything, like I look at my face every day.
Yeah.
And I could just,
you know what works.
Yeah, like that. You want to try bangs?
No.
Ooh. I mean,
I had the mushroom bowl cut
they have
when I was
clip-on
a kid.
bangs.
oh, they
like-
do. Oh, you were Will Byers for a while. That's right.
Yeah, but it was like that with volume.
Oh, that's right. You have a lot of
very
hair.
puffy hair.
You were coconut head.
Yes.
You were coconut head.
I did not like it.
Okay, for the children,
Yeah, I got made fun
I'll
of.
insert it.
That's
For the
what-
children, I'll insert
I think-
coconut head.
that contributed to me being socially anxious because I always thought people were making fun of me.
Oh my god! Oh wait, sorry, we're still on bangs, but I have another story of
About bangs?
No, I have a story of someone who, like, this homeless guy. Actually, I was walking my. Oh, I should tell Juju about this. I haven't told him yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I was walking Alphonse, and like this guy was having an episode. And like he was in his car, and like he was like on the phone with someone, and then I walked past him with my friend's dog Alphonse, and then I walked back. And he saw me, like I had like a smile on my face, or like I was laughing, and he thought that I was laughing at him because he was because he was having like a terrible time or he was like suffering. And so he ran up to me from his car and he's like, hey, like just like totally like, I don't know if he was on anything at the time. I don't think he was, but he was definitely having an episode and he was just yelling at me. And I felt really bad because one, I'm just like trying to talk to him like calmly, like show that I'm not a threat. And I could feel Alphonse like stuck to the back of my legs, like very stressed out. I was like, oh my, and it's like I can't attend to him because I have this homeless guy yelling at my face, like asking me possibly maybe about to attack me. I'm just like, all right. And thankfully this other guy was like walking by and like he kind of, I guess he had the other guy also had interacted with this guy as well. And so like one of the things that stood out to me that he said, he was like, I'm really scared right now. And so I honed in on that. Essentially I was like, okay, well, like what do you need? Like, do you need help? Do you want me to call 911? And so I did call 911 and like the police came and it was like this like 3-hour ordeal. And then I went back to the house and I was like, shit, I need to be Alphonse.
I was like, how was Alphonse?
Oh yeah, actually Alphonse over the course of time, like after he got comfortable, like he started to like be a little bit more like sniff and like be a little bit more friendly. And so I think Alphonse honestly really helps like lessen the tension because thank God like he's a dog. And so like who wants to be the asshole that the dog is afraid of? You know?
Exactly.
Like if the dog's afraid of you, then you're doing something wrong. Then you're just like,
I don't care what people think of me. I care what the dogs think of me.
Oh yeah, definitely. Cause they're just like, you're not good vibes right now. And I don't want to be around you. And that says a lot.
That says a lot.
Yeah. So I was like, do you want to like feed him a treat? And then he was just kind of like, oh, wait. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, but like we were able to like me, him and the other guy who just like essentially sat and I had a heart to heart. And like, honestly, this guy just needs like friends, like people to talk to connect with. And that was what I got at the end of this entire experience, that people just want to connect and they want to be seen and they want to be validated, because sometimes your family just doesn't fucking get it. And he talked about that. And like his grandpa and his dad, like I think they've immigrated from like Iran, and it's just trying to impose like your past or like things that would maybe work back in the homeland here. It's not the same.
Yeah. Relatable.
Yeah. I was like, damn, I fucking get it, man.
Relatable.
Yeah.
Cheers. Oh my God.
Whew. I should text him back.
So that's it, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Give these two a wonderful follow. Support them in all the social medias. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.